Meghan Markle has just disgustingly broken the terms of the Sandringham Summit in her latest TV farce as the Sussexes start to leak new details about the meeting with the King. How predictable. An extraordinary call for Prince Harry to be stripped of his Counselor of State title.
There was a time when I thought that she was the villain of the piece, but actually I think it's him.
The UK visit had barely ended, and everything was supposed to remain completely secret. But the Sussexes are wasting no time, and we begin with Meghan Markle.
Absolutely making money off her so-called royal connections.
She has found a new way to use the one thing she claimed she wanted to escape, her royal title. After years of insisting that she wanted freedom, privacy, and a life outside the monarchy, Meghan is now stepping onto commercial television, while contestants are reportedly being asked to create a dish fit for a duchess.
She asks contestants to create a dish fit for a duchess.
A duchess, not Meghan the producer, not Meghan the entrepreneur, not Meghan the former actress, the duchess. So what exactly happened to the promise that royal status would not be turned into a private money-making machine? Especially now. The meeting with the king has barely taken place, and suddenly those royal titles are once again the most important part of their public image.
This TV appearance goes against both the clear law of the Sandringham Summit, if only it was enforceable by law. Lock her up! Lock the traitor up! But also actually the moral code of what the Sandringham Summit was all about. Create a dish fit for a duchess, be paid on a commercial television project to do that. You are breaking the Sandringham Summit.
What happened to the spirit of the Sandringham Agreement? And why does every attempt to build a new life somehow drag the same royal title back into the room? Meghan's appearance on MasterChef Australia is now being promoted as a major television event, and the entire challenge appears to revolve around her royal identity.
The mainstream media are giving her a pass on this. The royal family are giving her a pass on this, but I'm not, because I am completely disgusted by the fact that confirmation of Ms. Markle as a guest judge on MasterChef Australia shows that she is absolutely making money off her so-called royal connections.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now let's get back to today's story. Contestants will reportedly be asked to use seasonal ingredients and prepare a dish worthy of a duchess. That phrase is not hidden in the background. It is the gimmick and the reason viewers are supposed to care. And that is exactly why critics are furious. The problem is not that Meghan appeared on a cooking show. The problem is that the commercial value of the appearance appears to depend on the title she received from the institution she publicly left.
She can no longer say, oh, this was something the TV producers just did and I'm against it, because the entire challenge is about a dish fit for the duchess. And you're so right. Yeah. It's so weird, isn't it? Because it's like everyone's sort of trying to look up to her as if she's royalty when we all know she's not. It's super, super cringe.
Without the duchess label, what is the challenge? Cook something for Meghan does not sound nearly as grand. Prepare lunch for a former cable television actress does not create the same publicity. But a dish fit for a duchess instantly gives producers a royal headline, a royal theme, and a royal marketing campaign. So who is really benefiting from whom? Is Meghan helping MasterChef Australia? Or is MasterChef Australia helping Meghan keep the royal connection alive?
This is a woman that once turned around and said, I want to be linked and not ranked, but also the same woman that when she went to, I think it was the LA tar pits, and there was a group of school children, this came out in a report, that there were school children, and she got them, the person, whoever it was, to announce to a bunch of 11, 12-year-old girls, the Duchess of Sussex, let alone when she went to a friend's house that was allowing her to have her interview there. And she also got announced walking into the room.
This is the same Meghan who was reportedly frustrated when people on camera referred to her as royalty. Her response encouraged the public to believe that the label had been pushed onto her. She wanted distance from the idea that she was using royal status. But how can she reject the word royalty while participating in a challenge built around being a duchess? Did nobody explain the episode to her?
This was to plump up her bank balance and makes a big thing about, well, I'm not going to be called royalty because, of course, we can't use that but then the actual challenge is a dish fit for a duchess. I'm sorry. You are breaking the Sandringham Summit. You are yet again disrespecting the late Queen Elizabeth II. You are yet again disrespecting the British royal family. She doesn't care. No one seems to call her out for it anymore, so I will.
Did she arrive on set without knowing the theme? Did the producer surprise her after the camera started rolling? Of course not. A television appearance like this is planned. The challenge is planned. The ingredients, publicity, and language are planned. That is why the outrage is not disappearing. Critics are asking whether Meghan wants the freedom of a celebrity while keeping the prestige of royalty. She does not perform royal duties, represent the king, or follow the restrictions placed on working members of the family.
What attracted me to the MasterChef Australia kitchen, she asked? 2 things, my love of food and my love of Australia. It was an easy yes. Don't lie, Meghan, you were like, add a 0 onto the fee, then maybe I'll do it.
But the title still appears whenever a commercial project needs more attention. How convenient is that? Harry and Meghan have just returned to the center of royal attention after the private meeting with King Charles. The Sussexes reportedly promised that the meeting would remain secret. No photographs, no detailed account, no dramatic television retelling. Yet while the public is still debating whether the family reunion restored their royal connection, Meghan's next television appearance arrives wrapped in Duchess branding. Can anyone seriously pretend those 2 stories have nothing to do with each other?
After everything failed, the way back is to remind the world again that she's a member of this royal family. It's so interesting to me. The one thing that makes her interesting is that she married a royal. So trying to run away from that is just a terrible brand strategy. It's an awful thing too on a human level, on a family level, but I don't think for 1 minute she wanted to meet the king so that she could fix this family. I think it was a business decision, a business idea.
And the MasterChef appearance is only the beginning.
Equally cringe, Tash, the fact that Meghan Markle appears to have bought herself an Emmy nomination. But Tash, not for the actual Emmys, right? Which are the big deal where you get all of the primetime shows competing against each other, like, The Diplomat and Hacks. And do you know what I mean? The big deal,
shows
big budget TV
of.
shows that you've heard of. This is the daytime Emmys, Tash.
Because Meghan's Netflix lifestyle series has now received a daytime Emmy nomination. Her supporters are celebrating as though Hollywood has finally crowned her. They are pointing to the word Emmy and demanding that critics admit the show was a success. But the nomination has created another argument. Was this a major creative victory? Or was it the result of an expensive awards campaign for a heavily promoted lifestyle program?
It was the only thing that she could get her hands on, because she wasn't going to be listed or nominated for a real Emmy, was she? I mean, this is a woman that got nicknamed Salmonella Sussex because of her absolutely diabolical kitchen hygiene, let alone the basic stuff. You know, people could be, I suppose, a bit picky saying, oh, she doesn't hold a knife right and she can't grate a lemon right. This is a woman that had raw chicken in the fridge, that was wearing her jewelry as she bastes and molests raw chicken.
Awards campaigning is normal in Hollywood. Studios advertise, producers contact voters, publicists create momentum. That does not mean a nomination was literally purchased, but it does mean nominations do not appear in a magical vacuum.
How on earth can With Love Meghan qualify for the daytime Emmys? It is a streaming show that was very much launched as a prime time proposition on Netflix with a prime time budget, but no, she's got a daytime Emmy nomination.
Money, access, publicity, and industry relationships matter. So when critics say Meghan bought the nomination, that language is clearly an accusation and an opinion, not a proven fact. The more serious question is whether the nomination changes what viewers actually thought about the show.
She was a basic kitchen hygiene red flag. And the show at the end of the day got cancelled after 1 season. It was so bad. They filmed 16 episodes and they split it into 2 so she could pretend that it was renewed for season 2. Remember her dancing around in that little baseball cap? It was all staged. There was no season 2. They filmed it all in one go. And I think that they tried to get the best episodes in the first season. But Dan, you and I sat through that. I mean, that's hours of our lives that we've lost forever.
Did people suddenly forget the negative reviews? Did the awkward moments disappear? Did every criticism of the cooking, hosting, and staged conversations become invalid because an awards body placed the series on a list? Of course not. A nomination is useful publicity. It is not a time machine. It cannot rewrite the reaction that already happened. and the category itself has become part of the mockery.
Apparently got a Daytime Emmy nomination for most boring show ever. No, but apparently lifestyle show.
The show was launched on Netflix with enormous publicity, famous guests, and the image of a premium streaming production. Now it is being celebrated in a Daytime Emmy lifestyle category. There is nothing shameful about daytime television. Millions of people love daytime programs, but critics are asking why such an expensive, heavily marketed Netflix project is now being framed as a triumph because it entered a category with very different expectations.
For that hideous Netflix show she did with Love Meghan. It's amazing to me. Like, quite possibly the actual worst product to hit television over the past 5 years.
Was this always the dream? Did Meghan leave the royal family to compete in a lifestyle category against programs with far smaller publicity machines? Is this the global empire supporters promised? Or is the word Emmy doing far more work than the actual achievement? The nomination also gives Meghan another opportunity to present the show as validated. That matters because the future of her entertainment career remains under constant examination. Every project, launch, and interview becomes a fight over whether the Sussex brand is growing or collapsing. The nomination gives supporters a trophy to hold up, but it also gives critics new material.
It's just one more step closer to the grave for Hollywood.
They can now ask how much money was spent promoting the series. They can compare the huge launch to the final result. They can point out that a nomination does not guarantee a win. And they can question whether the audience watched because they loved Meghan's lifestyle ideas or because controversy kept her name in the headlines. What happens if the show loses? Will supporters still call the nomination proof of success? What happens if it wins? Will that create a second season, new specials, and stronger viewing figures?
The oxygen goes out of their attempts to make lots of money because America, Spotify, Netflix, everybody's turned their back because they've seen this couple for what they are. The only thing that they've got left is to not ingratiate themselves, but have a little bit of a visit, be seen, because I don't trust them. I think it will be out there with pictures and everything. I think they've proven that.
Or will Meghan hold an award while the larger business model still struggles? That is the real pressure behind this nomination. It cannot remain a symbolic victory forever. It has to produce something. More viewers, deals, episodes, products, and proof that the public wants what Meghan is selling. Otherwise, the Emmy headline becomes another shiny announcement with no lasting result.
I mean, let's be honest, Brand Sussex is dead. Everything they touch is a disaster. They've got the political, well, I was going to say the social awareness of two of the most tone-deaf people in the world, but at least he's ticked a box, Charles.
And while Meghan is trying to turn television and lifestyle branding into credibility, Harry is not exactly helping. His latest podcast appearance has already been attacked as one of the most embarrassing interviews he has ever given.
Asked about his grooming routine, he decides to talk about something he describes as shit, shower, and shave, leading to a truly repulsive conversation about his pubic hair that is completely unbecoming.
What's your grooming routine with your auburn?
It's a shit shower shave, obviously.
Shit shower and a shave?
Yes.
So you answering?
How did you get rid of it?
The conversation included crude jokes, intimate grooming talk, and stories that critics said were completely beneath the son of a king. Harry appeared relaxed. He laughed. He joined in, but the reaction was brutal.
Yeah. Normally once you're 40 or older, never trust a fart. But you're young and you, on the M25, shat your pants via a fart. That's hilarious.
Mike Graham, that's the son of the king. That
I mean,
is the
I'm
son of
sorry.
the king.
Dan, I'm not I'm not a wilting flower. Appalling. It's just appalling. What's he thinking?
People asked how a man who still introduces himself through his royal identity could reduce that identity to this kind of conversation. Where was the dignity? Where was the judgment? Where was the awareness that every sentence would be clipped, shared, and used against him? Harry wanted to escape the stiffness of royal life. Fine, but freedom does not require public humiliation. Being informal does not require abandoning every boundary. And being relatable does not mean telling strangers things they never asked to know.
All of the past few years, Harry has tried to make out that he's this big brain and this sensitive soul. Actually, he's just a man-child. And all of a sudden, when you watch that, look, I know we've all got our strong views on Ms. Markle, but when you watch that, you sort of do understand why she's very turned off him. Because a woman doesn't want that, Mike.
We covered that catastrophic interview in full yesterday. So after this video, go to the Crown Clash channel and watch exactly how far that conversation went. Because a short description cannot capture how uncomfortable it became, and the interview creates a direct contrast with Meghan's polished television image. She is trying to appear elegant, controlled, and aspirational. She is judging food. She is discussing memories. She is celebrating an Emmy nomination. Meanwhile, Harry is making crude jokes on a podcast and reminding the public why palace staff once controlled every royal appearance so carefully.
And actually, I think now he is more to blame for the fallout of the relationship between him and his father and him and his brother. And she's just a kind of a part of his life, a small part of his life, who he probably doesn't care about. He probably doesn't really love her. He treats her like a sort of, surrogate mother, because she's the mother he never had when Diana, his mother, died when he was young. But he's a pathetic specimen. I mean, it's like, come on, man. We've all suffered. We've all been through some crap. Don't be so appalling, and have some respect for the people who look up to you for one reason or another.
How can those two brands exist in the same marriage? How can Meghan sell refinement while Harry sells chaos? How can they present themselves as a serious global couple when one project is trying to look luxurious and the next interview sounds like a locker room conversation that should never have been recorded?
There's nothing cute about this. There's nothing ordinary about this. It's not about Harry the cheeky chappy. This is just about a man who is degrading what he should be about. A man who has spent years trying to convince us that he is some type of amazing academic thinker, that he's an intellect, that he's fighting for true causes. Whereas actually, do you know what Harry wants to do? Harry wants to drive a conversation about people shitting themselves on a motorway.
This is where the story becomes even darker. One commentator went further and claimed that Harry may not really love Meghan. He described her as only a small part of Harry's life and suggested that Harry treats her like a replacement mother because of the loss of Princess Diana. That is not a confirmed fact. It is a harsh personal opinion.
Trained to be a member of the royal family, he was taught how to behave. He rejected it. He decided to become a snowflake. He decided to become a me, obsessive.
Nobody outside the marriage knows exactly what Harry feels, but the comment is spreading because the public has noticed a change in how the couple appears. The old image was clear. Harry was the devoted husband. Meghan was the woman who saved him. They held hands. They defended each other. They presented themselves as a united team fighting a hostile institution. Now the public sees separate projects, different styles, and repeated reports of professional pressure.
There's like a toxicity.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's what I think Harry's stuck in, a sort of toxic mess with Meghan.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
Meghan appears focused on food, television, products, and lifestyle branding. Harry appears trapped between court cases, royal conflict, Invictus, podcasts, and the identity he claimed he wanted to leave behind. Are they still building the same future? Or are they simply living under the same brand name? That is the question critics are asking.
We know we're not dealing with two smart people.
It's a loveless, effed up marriage.
The commentators claim that Harry sees Meghan as a substitute for the mother he lost is psychologically loaded and impossible to prove from television clips. But it connects to a pattern Harry has discussed himself. He has repeatedly spoken about Diana. He has compared Meghan's experiences to Diana's. He has framed major decisions through the fear of history repeating itself. He has carried that loss into interviews, documentaries, and his memoir. So what happens when the person he once described as his protector becomes frustrated with the chaos around him?
I personally do not trust Harry and Meghan, and when they have put out statements saying, of course we're not working on a Diana documentary, I personally do not believe them. They are both very obsessed with Diana. Harry has taken ownership over Diana's memory. Meghan likes to dress like Diana. It's not once or twice, it's been continuously. It's not just from a few years ago.
The late Queen made the position clear when Harry and Meghan stepped back. They could not create a half-in, half-out arrangement where royal status was used whenever it suited them and ignored whenever responsibility appeared. The exact legal limits are complicated, and critics cannot simply declare that Meghan committed some official crime by appearing on television. But the moral question is obvious. Does this appearance respect the spirit of the deal?
Meghan didn't actually get exactly what she wanted because the Duchess, or the fake Duchess, actually hoped that it was all going to be about securing an image. An insider telling him that a photograph was the real prize.
Or does it expose how weak that deal became once the Sussexes moved to California? Because Meghan is not being introduced as an ordinary television guest. The episode is reportedly selling the fantasy of royal access. The contestants are not simply preparing a good meal. They are being told to prepare something for a duchess. That turns the title into entertainment.
The royal family is meant to be the one institution who isn't going down this path, who we're not meant to know everything about, who do sit above sort of pop culture, celebrity culture. I mean, there's another part of the interview where they're joking about OnlyFans, and you're just like, no, not
I mean, you
not
can't imagine. You can't imagine, William and Kate sitting there talking about how she shaves her armpits,
Never.
Just wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen.
It turns royal status into a television prop, and it raises one brutal question. Was leaving the monarchy ever about rejecting the institution, or was it about keeping the most valuable parts without accepting the rules? Meghan has said that food connects people, carries memories, and tells personal stories. That sounds pleasant. But the story surrounding this episode is not really about Brussels sprouts, lemons, honey, or macadamia nuts. It is about branding, status, and whether the Duchess of Sussex title is still being used as a commercial asset years after Meghan stopped working for the crown. And the timing makes the entire situation even more explosive.
For Meghan, it's achieved what she wants. It's once again re-established, and maybe not been seen, but we read the news story, that they're still part of the royal family. And that, I think, is what people find.
Oh, she didn't want to be part of the royal family. She called them racists and everything else.
But Brand Sussex is entirely dependent on some sort of association. Hence the reason why when you see all her packaging for her as ever, all I can hope is that the jam, they had some proper jam served at the tea from Highgrove rather than the slop that Meghan calls strawberry spread.
Royal proximity creates headlines. Headlines create attention. Attention creates commercial value. That does not prove that Meghan planned the timing, but it explains why critics are suspicious. They have watched the same pattern for years. A royal dispute dominates the news, a Sussex project appears, and a private connection becomes part of the public brand. Then supporters insist that Meghan and Harry are simply moving forward. Moving forward to where? They keep circling the same palace gates.
Because the Sussex brand was built on the royal connection.
What happens when Meghan wants a controlled business image, but Harry continues to create reckless headlines? What happens when the man who left Britain to protect his family keeps dragging royal conflict into every new chapter? Does Meghan still see Harry as the key to her future? Does Harry still see Meghan as the person who rescued him? Or have those roles become exhausting for both of them? The MasterChef story shows Meghan still benefiting from the Duchess identity. The Emmy nomination shows her seeking validation inside the entertainment industry. The podcast shows Harry using the freedom he demanded in ways that damage the image they are trying to build. And the marriage commentary shows how quickly observers are turning those contradictions into questions about love.
There's really been a lot about the negativity in this marriage which is coming through across the course of this visit too.
This is not proof that the marriage is ending. It is proof that the public story of the marriage is changing. That difference matters. For years, every problem was blamed on the palace. Every bad headline was blamed on the British press. Every failure was blamed on discrimination, jealousy, sabotage, or an institution that refused to understand them. But what happens when the palace is no longer in the room?
The worst, most embarrassing interview by a member of the British royal family I have ever seen.
Who gets blamed when Meghan's show is mocked? Who gets blamed when Harry gives a humiliating interview? Who gets blamed when their projects move in opposite directions? Who gets blamed when commentators begin asking whether the relationship itself has lost its purpose? They wanted independence. Now, independence means ownership. They own the project's interviews, strategy, and consequences. Meghan cannot blame palace advisors for the Duchess-themed television challenge. Harry cannot blame royal protocol for the words he chose on that podcast. Netflix cannot force viewers to love a lifestyle series. An Emmy nomination cannot force the public to respect it.
Can I just say that the thing that should probably get your title stripped is going on a podcast, sort of a TV show these days, and talking about your pubic hair and people shitting themselves.
And a commentator cannot destroy a healthy marriage with one cruel sentence. But every controversy and contradiction adds pressure, while every royal title used for publicity reminds people that the Sussexes never truly separated from the institution they condemned. So where does this end? Does Meghan continue using the Duchess title whenever it raises the value of a commercial project? Does Harry continue presenting himself as a prince while behaving like a celebrity desperate to shock an audience?
An extraordinary call for Prince Harry to be stripped of his Counselor of State title after his courtroom embarrassment versus the Daily Mail. And by the way, as he gives a new podcast interview.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple printable and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story. Does the Emmy nomination create a real comeback, or does it become another headline that disappears after a few days? And can a marriage survive when both people appear to need completely different versions of the same brand? Meghan needs elegance and control, while Harry creates embarrassment and chaos.
Put himself in a position where he is trying to keep up with the mainstream. He is trying to appear cool, if you call that cool. And it's very unbecoming of a man who is the son of the king. He's degraded himself, and he's going to continue to do it. I think he feels emboldened by the life that he has now, considering he can come and go. His dad will grant him time. He still has his adjacent life to the monarchy, and he feels like he can just go do whatever he wants to do.
She needs Hollywood validation, while he keeps returning to royal grievance. They may still love each other deeply. They may still be completely united behind closed doors. But their public machine is no longer telling one clear story. It is telling 4 stories at once. A duchess accused of cashing in, a lifestyle star chasing awards, a prince humiliating himself, and a marriage being questioned by people who once blamed Meghan for everything. That is why this television appearance matters. It is not just one cooking challenge. It exposes the contradiction at the center of the entire Sussex project. They left the royal system, but they still need royal language. They rejected royal control, but they struggle without royal discipline.
He was always within the royal circle to be protected, to have his image cleaned up, or to help him with that. Right now, he doesn't have anyone around him controlling anything that he does. He's just going to continue to make his reputation mud. He's going to look like a man-child.
They demanded privacy, but their value rises whenever royal attention returns. They asked the world to see them as independent, yet the word Duchess remains one of Meghan's strongest selling points. So tell me what you think. Is the MasterChef appearance harmless entertainment, or is Meghan once again turning a royal title into commercial publicity? Does the Emmy nomination prove that her show succeeded? Or is Hollywood rewarding promotion instead of popularity? Was Harry's podcast simply a joke between adults? Or did he humiliate himself and damage the Sussex brand again? And do you believe the marriage is genuinely fading? Or are commentators using one awkward interview to create a crisis that does not exist? One thing is certain. Harry and Meghan wanted the freedom to control their own story. Now the palace cannot save them from the story they are creating.